Hello and welcome to the new series of Drishti IAS. I am Pooja Devedi, and in this segment today we are going to talk about Joint River Water Commission of India and Bangladesh. This topic is important from the perspective of prelims and also from the perspective of GS Mains Paper 2. So let's begin with the topics of discussion that we are going to look at. First of all, we will talk about wine news. Then we will discuss about key highlights of the meeting. We will also discuss about Indo-Bangladesh relations in brief, of course, and we will talk about Indo-Bangladesh Joint River Water Commission, which has been in mechanism since the year 1972, which will be followed by transnational river water disputes that will, of course, engulf both Teesta and Feni. We will discuss about the way forward, and in the last of the segment, I am going to ask you a mains-based question, which will help you for opinion making. So let's begin with why in news. So this topic has recently been in news because the secretary level meeting of Indo-Bangladesh Joint River Water Commission under the mechanism of this has held. There were talks about how to manage the water resources and also have a framework for water sharing agreement. But there were certain other key highlights as well. Let's look at them. So first key highlight is that both the countries, they made it very clear that both the countries, we share 54 common rivers. And it impacts the livelihoods of lakhs of people, because people living in the region of Bangladesh as well as West Bengal, they are dependent on irrigation if we talk about the 54 common rivers. So the water commonality, the river water commonality is enormous. Also, the second highlight is that they said that there is a close cooperation in existence since the year 1972. That is, there is a mechanism for talking about, in a very diplomatic manner, about how to share these resources, although the talks have been going on for sharing of water since the year 1983 in a proper channeled manner. Also, they said that we will discuss about issues related to flood forecasting, also river water sharing, as well as mitigation of pollution, better river water basin management, and also flood forecasting. If we talk about, it will definitely talk about those rivers which are much more prone than they were before, such as Teesta. Teesta is becoming more and more prone. We will discuss about that later. It also said, the secretary level meeting said that we have to expand cooperation across an entire gamut of issues related to water resources. Now, if we talk about Bangladesh, India shares the largest boundary with Bangladesh than any other neighboring country, right? And if we talk about the land borders, 2979 kilometers of land border is shared by the states of West Bengal, Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. And the riverine borders is across 1116 kilometers. Then the largest boundary becomes approximately 4096 kilometers, right? So, and Bangladesh has been a very significant neighbor since the very beginning. And India was the first ever country to give a diplomatic validation to Bangladesh after its liberation in the year 1971. We have many commonalities and we cooperate in many fields such as defense. If we talk about defense, we have a common joint military exercise by the name of Sampriti, and also exercise Milan, the Indian naval exercise, which is joint in nature. If we talk about the economic significance is also very huge because Bangladesh has remained the largest trading partner of India in the Southeast Asian region. Bangladesh has been very appreciative of duty-free, quota-free procedure which was established by the South Asian Free Trade Agreement, SAFTA. So, first was defense, second was economic, and of course very significant because we have 54 rivers in commonality. We have Joint River Water Commission. So, there are many connectivity projects as well. Can you name a few in the comment segment for me? Okay, let's move on and talk about the recent development. Recent in the sense in the month of January, because India and Bangladesh, they were celebrating jointly the Swarnim Vijay Divas, the liberation day of Bangladesh in the year 1971. We have completed 50 years of it. And that is why it was appreciated. It was shown as it was appreciated in a manner by the military contingent of the Bangladeshi army. It was parading on the Republic Day of India on 26th of January. Moving on. Now, here you can see the river basin of Bangladesh basically. So, this is the national boundary, this red line that you see here, okay? And there are so many rivers that flow from India to Bangladesh and they meet the Bay of Bengal. Now, as you can see, Brahmaputra is there. Brahmaputra goes actually known as the Yarlung Zangpo in Tibet region of China, autonomous region of China, from the Chemyangdang glacier. Then you have Teesta, tributary of Brahmaputra, right? And then you have Surma. So many rivers, as you can see, Meghna and Ganges, that flows and continues to flow through Bangladesh, meets the Bay of Bengal. So we have a lot of water interest when it comes to Bangladesh, right? Moving on. Now, as you can see that this entire region, the terrain of Yarlung Zangpo, we have already discussed about one very important development at the Great Bend here, when Brahmaputra from the Chemyangdang glacier enters India in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. This Great Bend is of extremely significant nature in the sense that China is building the world's largest hydroelectric power project at this region. So that is why it is very important for both India and Bangladesh to be extremely alert, because if we talk about different other rivers on which China has developed its projects, it has actually gone dry, like Mekong River. We have discussed about it, the Mekong River. So here, just to remind you of the fact that kindly study about it as well. Alright, so as you can see, so many rivers, Teesta, then you have Brahmaputra of course, Surma, Barak, and River Feni as well. We will discuss about River Feni. Kindly look at it. Moving on, let's talk about the Joint River Water Commission, which was established in the year 1972 in order to do resource management of those 54 rivers. Now, we need to upgrade our mechanism in the sense that because of the recent developments with China and also the close affinity between Bangladesh and China that is growing, we need to be extremely careful with upgrading our mechanism, right? So, in order to take care of those 54 rivers, common rivers, a mechanism was established and it is headed by water resource ministers of both the countries. It also includes a system of transmission of flood forecasting data on major rivers such as the Ganga, Teesta, Brahmaputra, Barak during monsoon season from India to Bangladesh. Now, if we talk about transnational river dispute, Teesta is the most significant or the key one of them. Teesta, if we talk about, it's a tributary of Brahmaputra and it is known as Jamuna in Bangladesh. Kindly look at this map. Here, this is Jamuna, right? So, it is known as Jamuna in Bangladesh, and once it meets the Ganges, what does it become? Kindly comment in the comment segment, it's actually in front of you, right? So, Teesta, known as Jamuna, it rises or originates in Himalayas near the Changtang glacier, Sikkim, and flows to the south through West Bengal and it enters Bangladesh. The Teesta barrage dam helps to manage the plains for irrigation between Padma and Jamuna. Here you can see, between Padma and Jamuna, the Teesta barrage helps to use that water resource for irrigation purpose, right? Let's move on and talk about transnational river disputes, what efforts have been done. As I've already told you that since the year 1983, India and Bangladesh are trying to reach at a conclusion how to actually do resource management, how to actually share water under a common framework which gives both Bangladesh and India fair and equitable right to the water of Teesta and many other rivers, important rivers. So, efforts have been in place since the year 1983. But there was an interim deal which was signed in the year 2011, signed in the sense it was agreed upon, in the sense that India would take care of the 42.5% of the waters of Teesta for irrigation purpose and other hydroelectric purpose or any other purpose for its own reasons. And Bangladesh will get 37.5% of it. But West Bengal was not at all happy with this arrangement, and that is why this agreement couldn't go further and it was shelved. So this arrangement was actually for 15 years. Keep that in mind, for 15 years only, because it's an interim arrangement, right? And now Bangladesh says that we want fair and equitable right to the waters of Teesta. That is why we need an agreement on the Ganga Water Treaty on the similar lines of this agreement, which provides that the Farakka barrage under this agreement only we have. So Farakka barrage helps to both the countries. It's a help to both the countries in order to use the resources of the surface water of the area, alright, of the Ganges River. Then if we talk about the importance of Teesta River, it's immense importance. In the sense, if we talk about Bangladesh, basically, Bangladesh has an interest of 14% when it comes to the cropped area. The floodplains of Teesta River actually is extremely helpful for the 14% of cropped areas on which 73% of the population depends. And if we talk about West Bengal, it is kind of a lifeline for West Bengal. It is a lifeline. The half a dozen of the West Bengal's North District, they depend on Teesta for irrigation purpose, for agriculture purpose. So of course Bangladesh and West Bengal. West Bengal is a key stakeholder. That is why the problem here lies that many, especially West Bengal, holds a huge interest in Teesta River. That is why it is being unable to be moved forward. India and Bangladesh as a team are unable to be moving forward with the Teesta River. So for Bangladesh we have already discussed, for India we have already discussed its value, and you can see 2 nations, 1 river, the total length 414 kilometers. In Sikkim it's 151 kilometers, Sikkim West Bengal boundary 142 kilometers and Bangladesh 121 kilometers. So this is the issue. The key stakeholder, Bangladesh, West Bengal and even India, in the sense the state of India, they need to reach a conclusion now, because Chinese interests are growing. And so it was in the year 2020, this news came into being that Bangladesh has signed a water management deal, in the sense it has taken $1 billion loan from China in order to manage the river basin and better flood forecasting and also tackle with the water crisis during summers. This is the aim of the project with China. Now China's interests are of course growing in its neighborhoods, especially with respect to India. So India should also be upgrading its mechanism of diplomacy when it comes to water resources. I have already told you that China is building the world's largest hydroelectric power project at the Great Bend of Brahmaputra, which is of course going to affect India some way or the other, because not the quantity, the quality of water will depend on it. Moving on, we will talk about River Feni here. Now, River Feni, actually, as you can see through the map, River Feni, it originates in the southern region of Tripura, goes through the town of Sabroom, help the town people to have drinking water, irrigation purpose. Then it flows through the boundary of India and Bangladesh. Here is the boundary, and flows and meets the Bay of Bengal. So Feni River is of course very important for both India and Bangladesh. And if we talk about recent development says that a memorandum of understanding should be developed in order to share the waters of River Feni along with many other rivers. There are many other rivers such as Darla, and we have Manu, and there are certain other rivers along with Feni that needs to be taken care of because of a framework. Prior to the memorandum of understanding of the year 1920, there is still contention going on, not a very foolproof document it is, but prior to that there was no river water sharing arrangement between India and Bangladesh. We are making progress. however slow it may be. Moving on, let's talk about the way forward, of course. First, we need continuous diplomatic cooperation. India should totally capitalize on its soft power, not hard power, because when a country shares a culture with another country, soft power is the biggest weapon. Right. Moving on, let's talk about disengagement from trilateral issues. Trilateral issues like if China has to grow interest in the rivers of Teesta, Brahmaputra, but trilateral issues in the sense bilateral issues should not spill over to trilateral issues. The problems between India and China should not spill over to Bangladesh. We can't make Bangladesh a victim of it. So, second way forward. Cooperation and conservation. Now, it's not only acquiring or exploiting a water resource, we should also be very careful with, we need to cooperate with respect to water resources. Then only both the countries will be able to reap the benefits of it. Also, capitalize on the commonalities. So many commonalities, cultural commonalities. India has also helped Bangladesh to liberate itself from the clutches of Pakistan. There are so many commonalities we can look at. And then only we will actually solve all the knots that are there in different issues. Also, innovation and water utilization, there should be a proper mechanism when it comes to having innovative purposes fulfilled. When we can do more. So the key highlights of the meetings are of course targeting towards that. Let's move on and talk about our mains-based question. Kindly look at the panel. Discuss the Teesta River agreement between India and Bangladesh. Alright. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.